pillar number 3, community. So community is a very strange word for me. I was not a community person for many, many years. I belonged to communities. I just didn't know that they were communities. So I went to school, I went to university, I belonged to clubs, I had hobbies. But the idea of ever having to rely or share or be supported by someone else was not a thing, because I was fiercely independent. I wanted to do everything by myself. And that worked for only so many years. And actually, it was my journey with MEN1 that taught me how important community was. So when I embarked upon this, I had this pivotal moment and I decided I've got to find out what I can do for my health. I didn't have a community, and I went looking for them. As well as being absolutely fiercely independent, wanted to do it by myself, I did go out there and I started joining webinars and I started joining groups and I started to find people. No one was speaking my language. No one really, I felt, got it. Particularly within disease, and this disease, especially because of the nature of it, there is so much emphasis on problem, on what's wrong, on what you can't do, and there is so little around what is possible and the choices you can make. And it's partly at risk of being a little bit politically incorrect. Partly, some of it is, because we don't want to look at what we can do, or there is a fear around making people feel as though they are responsible for their health. And when I say responsible, don't get that mixed up with to blame or guilty, because they're two very separate things. So taking responsibility for something is owning your response to it. So as I did with my health, I said, I don't want to go into surgery another time. If there is anything I can do about it, I'm going to do what I can. So that was my response. It could have been very, very different. And to find people who have that approach to life in general, but to find people who have that approach in their health, and within that, MEN1, I couldn't find it anywhere. So for me, my community actually came outside of MEN1, and I started to connect with people who were thinking like I was, and I was able to apply that to my health. But in going through this journey and, discovering all these things I'd looked for, and connecting with different specialists and trying out different practices and, getting into inner work and all these different things, I thought to myself, if I were to gift what I know now to someone, but without a sense of community, it wouldn't go anywhere. It wouldn't go anywhere, because community is the basis. Having people around you who you can lean on and who support you, but also who hold you accountable as well, and who aren't afraid to say the thing as it is so valuable. And it just doesn't exist, as far as I'm aware, outside of what I'm doing here and what I'm building and what you are helping me build here. So that's why I say find your right community. And I posted something the other day about, we all very subconsciously, unconsciously just go and, sit in a random train carriage and then find out we're stuck for the next half an hour with someone who's like yelling down the phone or having an argument or something. And it just makes you think, okay, I've got to endure this. But we have so much choice. That's not necessarily the case in something like MEN1, where we have choice about where we put our energy and our time and who we share our space with. And I think I can't impress upon you enough the importance that you surround yourself with the right people. And that might not be me, because you might hate what I'm saying. I think if you did, you would have logged off by now, or you're just being polite. It might not be that any of these principles are actually going to work for you, or maybe it just doesn't feel right, and that's okay. But go out and find what's right for you. And when you've got it and when you've found them, don't stop there. Keep building, and keep collaborating, keep communicating, make conversation. Everything does begin with C, doesn't it? It's just it's just so powerful. It's so powerful. What's next? Oh, okay, Lisa's time to shine. So Lisa and I connected a few months ago, and we chatted, and we very much agreed on this topic of community, not just community and having a space where you feel heard and listened to, but also like you can ask questions and explore. One that is filled with the right people, and the fact is there is a very negative dialogue around disease. I don't like these words, binary words like negative and positive, because I think they are very difficult to deal with. But ultimately, the discussion around disease has been having at the moment, even though we are making huge steps, particularly since the pandemic, generally in something like a genetic condition, it's not really, it doesn't put power back in your hands. And when Lisa came and she joined the community and she said, what I love is that I'm getting real tangible advice from someone who's been through it, but also it's so different to what I'm finding elsewhere, which is, you know, it doesn't put you in a place where you feel influential, where you feel powerful. And that's where empowerment comes back into it, because unless you're going to take the power, you're going to stay in that space and you're going to go round and round in circles. So as I say, as I'm saying this, community, it might not be me, it might not be this one. For Lisa it is, which is amazing. And there have been other of you who have come in and you've said, wow, this is kind of refreshing what I'm seeing, and finally someone's speaking it, and finally someone's asking the kooky questions that I don't want to ask in case my doctor looks at me like I'm a total weirdo and I might get discharged and never seen again, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way. But that's important. It's hugely, hugely important. So coming back to my quote at the beginning, every human being is the author of his health or disease. I hope, if we are almost 50 minutes into the session, that there is a part of you that realizes just how powerful you can be in your MEN1 reality. And not just MEN1, but your health in general. The two are so deeply intertwined. It's not MEN1 and then general health. And it pisses me off when doctors refer to it like that, because, you know, everything happens together. But it's MEN1 that, you know, that's that commonality that brings us together. And I really, really hope that with those three pillars that I talked about, your curiosity, your ability to choose consciously, and your awareness of the right community for you, that actually you can start to take a different trajectory with your health, or you can see where maybe you're blocked, or you might want to reconsider something or put certain steps in place so that actually whatever you're experiencing at the moment, whatever you're managing at the moment, doesn't have quite the same hold on you, and you can see a different reality beyond that.